Diane. Good morning.
Good morning.
We are playing and having a blast with the creative process, aren't we? Well, some of us are, some of us aren't so sure. Here we are embracing the creative process to bring our divinely inspired goal, whatever that is for you, to a successful and fulfilling completion. Here we are responding to Creator Spiritus, calling us upward, inspiring us to be more. What is it that you're working on creating in your life? You can hardly wait, can you? It's so exciting, moving confidently forward, eager to realize your dream, your goal. You relish working your affirmations every single day and boldly deny any thought that would hinder your success. Your daily meditations keep you connected to divine guidance, and your prayers continually affirm your success. Your vision is crystal clear, and you delight in holding that vision in your spiritual mind's eye, focusing on it every single day in all its glorious detail. With directed faith, you engage the masculine capacities of zeal, strength, and dominion, and charge ahead. Pour it on. Just do it. And then comes the hard part. Staying the course, one step at a time, carrying your creative efforts through to their completion. It's often been said every journey begins with a single step. What they don't say is that's followed by another step, and another step, and another step. It reminds us that there's a natural order to things. In Ecclesiastes, we read, to everything there's a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. Just a reminder of that natural order of things. We get acquainted with that natural order when we look at the 12 powers of man. One of the thought processes shared with us by Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore. One of those 12 divine powers that he recognizes in each and every one of us is the power of order. It's the power to organize, to sequence, to balance and adjust based on inspired ideas, on truth principles, and on spiritual law. We use that power of order as we move through the creative process step by step. Achieving our goals, fulfilling our creative calling has a natural order to it. Things develop one step at a time, and each step builds firmly and solidly on the previous step. So if you miss a step along the way, you're going to throw yourself completely off balance and may even bring crashing down around your ears everything you're trying to create. One of the interesting things I've realized over the years is those step-by-step processes unfold as consciousness unfolds, as our confidence, our awareness, our trust in the universe and the divine order of things is enhanced. Everything unfolds orderly and successfully. We can't rush the process as much as we'd like to. If we do, we create the possibility of poor results. Consider a baby, a fetus. That developing child needs 9 full months in the womb to be fully developed and fully prepared to emerge into this physical world. And if for whatever reason that 9-month gestation gets abbreviated, the child's really not ready to be in this world. And so often The ramifications are myriad health problems, if the child even survives. You cannot hurry up a pregnancy. You can't hurry up your own pregnant ideas. It applies in construction too. You can build a beautiful building, but if you don't have the appropriate and adequate foundation for what you're building, that structure's not going to stand very long. Consider the Leaning Tower of Pisa, a beautiful piece of architecture in Italy that was not built on a proper foundation. Something so simple and so basic as a good foundation, and being in the step-by-step process when it's not followed can have some powerful and unhappy ramifications. I've been reading Mike Dooley lately. He's an author and a speaker. He's written such books as Infinite Possibilities and Playing the Matrix. He has some words of wisdom for us on the creative process and the whole idea of divine order, specifically relative to our tendency to be somewhat impatient and the whole idea of time. Dooley tells us the obsession with instant gratification blinds us to our long-term potential. In other words, our goals, divinely inspired, creative calling, almost by definition, isn't something that's going to happen like that, is it? Think about the things that you're called to create, that your soul is yearning to express. Is that something that's going to happen overnight? Or is that going to take time to develop? I had a conversation not too long ago with our nephew, 22-year-old nephew, who's a very talented young man in many, many ways. At this particular moment, he is a character at Disney World. But he interrupted his college education for that wonderful, fun, and enjoyable segue. But now he's starting to realize that that's probably not his lifelong career calling. His parents are thrilled. He has taken some courses in architecture and has gotten the accolades of his teachers and professors as someone with a great talent, just waiting to be developed. And we were chatting about this when we saw him this winter down in Orlando. And I said, well, aren't you taking classes now? Aren't you pursuing architecture? You've got such talent. And he said, no, I'm not right now. He said, it's just going to take too long. And I looked at him with all the wisdom of his cocky aunt and said, you're 22 years old. You've got time. But you know, that applies to all of us. We all have all the time we need to do what it is we're called to do. Creator Spiritus calls us to be more than we've ever been, to do more than we've ever done. And if it's a significant goal, if it's an important goal, I can just about guarantee it will take time and planning and effort. Instant gratification is not likely to be part of the process. But on the flip side, the potential of expressing who you are and what you were created to be more powerfully, more creatively as a result of your own personal and spiritual development through the process, you will create the desire of your heart and grow in the process. And that is worth the trade-off against instant gratification. Dooley goes on to remind us, sometimes when things take longer than you think they would, it's just a gentle reminder from your higher self that you have more time than you thought, and that there is a journey to enjoy. A journey to enjoy. He's telling us to focus on the process. to be in the process, to embrace the process. And while the end result, whatever it is you're working on creating, is important, that's not the only thing that's important. Being in the process, learning and growing and becoming more, is every bit as important as that end result that you're aiming for. Dooley goes on to say, impatience as a sign of hurrying, hurrying as a sign of worry, and worry as a sign that someone forgot time is on their side. When we hurry, when we worry, we deny the natural unfolding of things. We deny that divine order that Fillmore reminds us is an innate part of who we are. While we're excited to move forward and fulfill our creative urges, you and I have all the time we need to fully engage in the process. It's not just the end that counts. It is the journey. Dooley also tells us the more time you give it, the more choices you will have. There will always be more than one right answer. Have you ever experienced that? You're going through life, something bubbles up and you think, well, I've got to do this, or I should do that, but you're not real sure, so you step back and you reconsider it and you contemplate it a little bit, and all of a sudden, another answer, another solution pops up from apparently left field. It's better than anything you had considered. But had you plowed ahead with some knee-jerk reaction, thinking I gotta hurry up and get it done, you might well have missed out on that better answer that took a little more time to come forward. Or maybe it just took you a little more time to see and hear. Dooley advises, fast takes longer when you hurry. Keep calm and saunter on. Boy, we gotta have that one made into a t-shirt now, don't we? The creative process is not only about achieving our goals, it's about the journey. It's about our personal and spiritual growth as we rise to the call to be more. It's about discovering within ourselves innate capacities that we never knew we had or had never fully developed. Instant gratification and hurrying the process to a conclusion short circuits the opportunity for deeper, more meaningful, more profound growth. And so we get to embrace step by step. Even as we visualize our completed goal, we're called to be here and now, in the moment, doing what is ours to do in the moment that will move us ultimately toward our goal. I stumbled across an important personal and spiritual lesson in this concept. Well, I didn't stumble across it, I rode across it. Lee and I were out on one of our little jaunts on our bicycles, going hither, thither, and yon. And we found ourselves at the intersection of County Road 5 and Burnsville Parkway. And the bikes were aimed uphill toward County Road 42. Well, I have to tell you, when you're on Burnsville Parkway looking up that hill toward County Road 42, I swear that's a 90-degree angle. And I swear Kilimanjaro looks about the same from base camp. How was I going to get up that hill? That long, steep rise. I like riding my bike, but I'm not an endurance athlete. I looked at that hill, and I got overwhelmed. Do you ever get that way in your process? When you're called to do something that's bigger and greater and more than you've ever been, and you look at that and think, can I do that? I don't think so. That's way beyond my capacity. But somehow you step out in faith. Somehow you take that first step and that second step and start moving forward. I courageously did just that. I started up that hill. Well, truth be told, it wasn't that courageous. If I didn't get my bike up that hill, my husband would have left me in the dust. That inspires courage now and then too. So I started pedaling up that long, steep hill with my eyes on the top of the hill, thinking I got to keep my eye on the goal and go, go, go. And I got overwhelmed. And I kept thinking, I don't think I can do this. I think this is more than I'm capable of. And I dropped my head down. And I realized when I did that, all I could see was about 10 or 15 feet in front of me. Well, heck, anybody can bike 10 or 15 feet. I could. If I can do it, I know you can do it. And I figured out on top of that, if I pulled my visor down just a little bit lower, it really blocked my vision, so all I could see was the next 10 or 15 feet. And so I worked my way up that hill, 10 and 15 feet at a time, not looking, except now and then, to glance and make sure I wasn't in danger, not looking at the end goal, knowing in my mind what it was, but focusing on what was immediately before me. 15 feet at a time. I pedaled, I downshifted, I huffed and I puffed, but I can make 15 more feet, and I can make another 15 more feet. And lo and behold, to my amazement, the next thing I knew, I was at the top of the hill, just like that. One step at a time. That's our spiritual journey, and that's our creative journey. Know what the ultimate goal is, but focus on the here and now, and do what you need to do simply to get to the next step. Do you ever wish, as you're moving through life or working toward a goal or dealing with an issue, that the universe would give you that divine flashlight where you could point the beam out there and see from here all the way to the goal, and you know exactly what to do and how to navigate every step of the way? I've asked for that more than once in prayer, and I still don't have that divine flashlight. But the universe does illumine the way for us, one step at a time. In fact, sometimes we don't even know how to get to where we're trying to go. My dually reminds us the hows are the domain of the universe. It always knows the shortest, quickest, fastest, most harmonious way between you and your dream. And this is where our spiritual principles come into play. We are called to be in the process, to trust the process, to know that the steps are unfolding as our consciousness unfolds, to see and accept the steps. And we do this most confidently as we nurture our connection with the divine mind of Mother, Father, God in our prayer, in our meditation, and following the guidance that bubbles up for us step by step. How are you doing in your homework assignments? There too, remember, the first assignment is your personal goal. What are you called to create these days? I know that you're aware that what you're creating already exists in your spiritual work, and practical work will bring it into this manifest world. I know you're focusing on it, connecting with divine mind through meditation, affirming it, visualizing it, imagining it in its completed state as you focus your attention on your goal. I know you're applying the masculine qualities of zeal, power, and strength, those get-it-done qualities. And you're moving toward your goal confidently, one step at a time, knowing that it's your consistency and your spiritual and practical work that will move you quickly, confidently, and assuredly to the fulfillment of your heart's desire. That's challenge number 1, your personal goal. Challenge number 2 is our group project, focusing on being a positive force in the world through growing this spiritual community, welcoming people to more expanded creative consciousness on our collective spiritual journey. And in joining minds and hearts together, the steps are exactly the same. Focusing with faith, visualizing this center as joyfully busy all the time, supporting expanded consciousness, not just Sundays, but all week long. Imagining in our mind's eye that this spiritual center is a center of higher consciousness, of joy and fulfillment that beams out into our local community. I hope in your daily meditation you're joining us and tapping into the universal source of divine inspiration and guidance to bring this to fruition. I hope you're engaging in affirmative prayer and carefully monitoring your thoughts, choosing to join us all and dwelling only on thoughts that uplift us all. And of course, collaboratively involving ourselves in engaging zeal, power, and strength to move forward, to be creative, to be a joyful creative expression in the world. A whole group of us did that a few weeks ago with our participation in the Dan Patch Days Parade. Not only was it a successful venture, it was one heck of a lot of fun. Step by step, one step at a time. Know that you're never alone in the effort to achieve your goals. Remember that the universe was created to respond to whatever it is you're putting out, to your creative effort, to your commitment, to your steadfastness in practicing spiritual principles. Stay the course. Follow divine order one step at a time, and you will reach your goal. You will achieve that great creative endeavor, and I promise you, it will be better than you had ever imagined. So now join me once again as we know in the depths of our being with greater insight our affirmation for the day. Together, creativity is my natural state of being. I am immersed in endless possibilities that evolve organically, one step at a time, as I embrace the creative process. And so it is.